Hi, everybody. Welcome to Last Week in Local for the week ending October 14th. How is it mid-October already? I don't understand. I feel like my last week in Vegas for PubCon just sort of blew, like, it's a throwaway week. I mean, it was a great week, but it's like it didn't even happen. It's sort of like a fairy tale or something.
Well, the ski areas in Colorado started opening this week.
Yes, that's true. We got snow in Colorado last week, and we're supposed to get snow the end of next week or end of this week or something. Anyway, welcome to fall in Colorado. I'm Carrie Hill. She's Mary Bowling. Mike is traveling today. I think he got snagged up in the bad weather East Coast mess that was going on. I'm not exactly sure. He'll probably be back next week. And so what's happening this week in local, Mayor?
All right, so Casey Mraz at Jaris Digital did a short little blog post with his advice for law firms about how to deal with Google's new no-follow tags to put on links. These are like user-generated content, sponsored, that sort of thing. And I agree with Casey that you might be shooting yourself in the foot using these. He thinks that maybe Google is not as clear as they would like to be in identifying these types of links, and that if you were to start identifying sponsored links as sponsored links, maybe you're going to lose some value from those. Mm-hmm. So this doesn't just affect law firms. I think it affects everybody. And personally, I wouldn't bother with them, at least not now.
No, and there was a Q&A with Gary Illis at PubCon last week, and he was directly asked, is there any benefit to the site owner to implementing rel sponsored and UGC? And he said, no, it's to help Google understand the web. And then he said it's up to the ranking teams to decide how they want to use no follows. In the past, any link signals surrounding a no-followed link were not allowed to be used in the ranking algorithm. Now, it's up to the ranking team to decide how they want to use that no-follow. So I don't exactly know that clarifies anything. I think it might creep the door open a little bit to no-follow actually meaning something in the future, which is why I think they did this. But right now it has absolutely zero effect, and I would not recommend implementing it at this point in time.
And it makes me wonder, what ranking teams? What are the ranking teams?
What is a ranking team?
Who are they? What are their email addresses?
Why are you, not only that, what is a ranking team, and why are you making changes that don't have anything to do with the ranking team? I think that Google works in these very annoying silos so that they can't see or know what other parts of the company need, want, or do. And it makes this big hot mess of what the hell is going on.
Right.
It just floors me how you can do something on the SEO side and be able to keep a straight face and say, well, I don't really have anything to do with maps, so I can't do anything about that. and think that's okay. That's like me saying, well, I didn't vote for Trump, so, I mean, I'm still an American. It still affects me. I can still be disturbed.
I know. And it is disturbing that they're leaving it up to the discretion of teams that change continually. Mm-hmm. From the Googlers that I've known, they can't stay in one role for very long. They're always being moved around. Mm-hmm. So they're coming up with ranking things that are going to change because there's new people in the position, and that doesn't quite seem right to me.
Right. And they don't define anything. There's no how-to or this is how it works. It's very ambiguous.
Right. Then Jamie Pittman from Bright Local did an article at Search Engine Land about service area businesses. And he's talking about which ones do best in local search. Well, really, most service area businesses don't really do that well on local search when they have to compete with storefronts.
Right.
And this has always been true, and Google seems to act like it's not true. but I think that, he's talking about how direct searches are dying for a lot of SABs, that they don't get a lot of direct searches to begin with, because these are not, it's not like searching for a coffee shop where you're going to go every day. You might only need a plumber a couple of times in your lifetime if you're lucky. So this is a good article, but I think that there's a lot of confusion among small businesses. I was speaking at a small business event last week, and the small businesses themselves, who are service area businesses, don't understand the difference between having a service area and being a service area business that has to hide their address.
Yeah.
And
totally don't get it. They totally don't comprehend the difference.
No. And I think that we're doing a disservice by not making it very clear to them that if you are eligible to publish an address, you should be publishing an address. It's just going to benefit you in rankings more than just about anything else you can do, as far as I'm concerned. Then Databox did an article on their blog. It's a solid checklist for local SEO if you're just getting started, or if you need a reminder, or if you're one of those people that just has to have a checklist. They have a 16-point local SEO checklist to help you rank better. And then lastly, Mike Blumenthal and David Mim did a pretty involved article at Street Fight talking about images, and how images are really, there's a lot of things that have changed with images lately. Google's showing different images for different queries sometimes. They're letting you search by image. They've enabled search by photos, and they're finding details about businesses by looking at photos. So I think this is a really big deal for local search. And I think Mike and David pretty clearly state that they think it's a big deal for local search too. And if I was a local business, I would be thinking about going back and optimizing my photos, at least the alt tags. If nothing else, I would try to add alt tags, and I would start with my homepage, go to my most important product and service pages, and start working my way down through there. I would also be on the phone with all my local clients saying, I need more photos. Can you give them to me? Can you get your users to give them to me? Because this is the start of something that is probably going to be very impactful. And with most things in local, if you're one of the first guys to jump on what they're offering you, you usually get a really good benefit from it. So read this article, start paying more attention to your photos, and definitely go back and optimize photos on your site. And I know you had an article about this, so over to you.
Yeah, so Mike actually also wrote another article on his Blumenthal's blog about understanding how this search by photos carousel is coming up in local search results. It's new, started like last week while I was at PubCon was when he first noticed it. And what's very interesting about it is it's pulling photos from I believe mostly Google My Business, but I don't think it's only Google My Business. And you can click on the photo that is of what you're interested in, and it will take you to that business's Google My Business profile. So, like for his example, which was for Barbara Oliver, his jewelry client, his pet client, he did earrings, Williamsville, New York, and it showed different types of earrings. So if you liked the look of a pair of earrings in this photo, you could tap on it and get the contact information for that particular jewelry store. I think depending upon what you sell and where you sell it, this could be super powerful. It's showing up underneath the 3-pack in the search results. on mobile right now. I have not seen it on desktop. But I've seen it for HVAC clients. I've seen it for locksmith clients. I've seen it for jewelry clients. So it's kind of across the board kind of clients, and a way for users on a mobile device to search without having to type in a keyword query, right? So you've typed one query in, but instead of refining your query, you're refining your search via photo, which I think is a very interesting tactic, especially on mobile when people try and do anything they can to not have to type things in on their phone, right? I think that what Mary said is 100% true. You should be optimizing your photos wherever you can, including in your My Business listing. You have the opportunity to add a caption, I believe, or a description of a photo when you upload it. I think you should be adding those descriptions in there of what's in that photo.
You can add photos to your services and products.
Yep,
lists.
And you should also be describing what's in the photo there. I also think it doesn't hurt to overlay text over the top of a photo that describes what's in the photo, because Google has gotten good enough to be able to read that text as a layer on top of that photo. So you don't even have to do anything special. You could use your PicMonkey and type over the top of the photo, or put a little caption that's embedded in the photo of what it is. And Google can read that now. So I think that anything you can do to make it very clear that what this is a photo of, what business it's associated with, can be beneficial for you in the short to long term. We don't know what's going to happen with this, how it's going to develop, but Google is obviously in the things that they've made available to Google My Business and in the search results, they're sort of doubling down on images right now. And I think anything you can do to be the first to take advantage of it in your market is going to be good for you.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing the image thing come full circle. It's okay, now we understand why Google wanted us to put photos in Google My Business listings.
Yep, for sure. Because it used to be like, oh, all you need is a cover photo and a couple other photos and you're fine. But now it's become, put a photo of every product and service you handle in here. And now we know why. Now we know what the goal was with that. They wanted us to populate that image search kind of.
And I know a lot of businesses will say, what am I going to take photos of? Your photos don't have to be National Geographic quality.
Nope.
They just have to be better than your competitors' photos and attention getting. And as Carrie was saying, kind of branded in some way.
Yep. I think, even like the photos they're showing for the HVAC queries, they're photos of guys working on furnaces and air conditioning systems. That's what Google interprets as what people want to see. And if you don't know what type of photos to take to populate, do some queries around you and see what Google is pulling into that result on your phone. So kind of that'll give you a clue as to what type of photo you should be uploading, and maybe try and make it as clear as possible. Some of the ones you see just look like a bunch of wires and gobbledygook, but if you can make it pretty clear as to what this is and what they're doing with it, either with the text overlay on the image or a description of the image, it could help you as well. Then I had an article from GatherUp. They did a case study with Allstate to drive more reviews to the individual agent pages rather than just people reviewing Allstate as a brand. And I thought it was really interesting tactics and how they drove the reviews to the individual agents and used GatherUp to get those reviews. And I guess they've grown like 1.5 million reviews in less than 5 years. They've seen an 89% increase in Google reviews year over year. And their average rating for all the agents across the site is like 4.6 out of 5, which is the golden spot, right? So 4.5, 4.6 to 4.9 is like where we like people to be, because 5.0 is not believable. So I think that there's some really interesting stuff in there as to how they did it and the benefits of, as Mary said in the pre-talk, promoting your practitioners. If you're the kind of business that you have a practice and you have practitioners, in Allstate's case, they have independent agents that are their practitioners. and how you can kind of build up your own business by building up the people that work for you. I think this is a great example of how practice practitioners should be treated internally within the business. So great stuff there in that case study. There's an article on Bright Local that talked about the top 10 free local SEO tools, which I thought there were a few interesting ones in here for sure. There were a few, in my opinion, that they left out. The ones that they included, of course, were their own tools, the local rank flux tool, and another one that they have, that Google ID and link generator. I use the GatherUp review link generator because it's a Chrome extension. It's like one click. They talk about Local Falcon. They talk about Zip Sprout, which is one of my not so secret favorite local tools. They talk about SiteLiner, which I use for duplicate content for every audit we do. I'd add to that list. I'd add Keywords Everywhere and GS Location Changer, which is how Joy taught me how to do keyword research, and I think it's brilliant local keyword research. I really like the SEMrush Keyword Magic tool for telling me where there are SERP features, and if my client has them, like FAQ markup, maps listings, image listings, those types of things. So I really like that tool as well. But it's a good, starter list of local search tools if you're just working your way into local search, or if you feel like you need a tool for something specific. It's a good place to start. And then the last thing I have, actually, that's not true. I'm out of order here. Sorry. I referenced it before, but Gary Illis did a Q&A at PubCon keynote, and Marie Haynes, bless her heart, thank you so much, Marie, covered it. She live tweeted it, and then she wrote a blog post about it where she lists all the questions and Gary's answers. I think it's pretty interesting. Some of the things he said and didn't say and wanted to say but couldn't say because PR would get mad at him for the answer he would give. So, that's kind of the way it goes, right? You don't ever get a straight answer, and when you do, there's somebody inevitably that will refute it, which is so dang frustrating, but that's kind of the way they work, I think, on purpose. And then the very last thing I have was an article Bill Hartzer put out. He's found a bug where URLs from your website link in Google My Business on the Maps app can break if you have UTM tracking codes on there. So if you're seeing some weird 404s from Maps app traffic, that might be the issue. And I would check out Bill's post. It has something to do with question marks and hash signs in the tracking URL. So take a look at that if you're getting some reports of weird 404s that you can't recreate. It might actually be from the Maps app on mobile. And that's what I got. I think
All right.
Oh, you know what? I do have one more thing. Sorry. The last thing I have is there's an article on the local U blog. Crystal Tang did a roundup of the local university we did in Denver a few weeks ago, and kind of put her thoughts and what the big takeaways were from the event. And I'd love everybody to take a read through. We'd love to hear your feedback. And I always like to see what other people get out of the events, because I know what I get. And as an organizer, it's good to see, what resonated with the audience, what people really tweaked on and what they didn't. So I really appreciate that. I think that was great. So, and that's it. That's all I have. I'm really done this time.
All right.
So thanks for joining us for Last Week in Local. We will be back next week with more news. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to our email list, which we'll send you all the links from this. You can also find them on the Local U blog, where you can watch a video of Last Week in Local, or you can subscribe via your favorite podcast tool. We're on Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.